I don't care if you've been snapping the big titty TikTok all night. If you up, smash that like button. Welcome to Black and the Black Times Infinity. I'm your host, the Tulu's Prodigy, comes to you live and direct from the Vista Smoke Down fam with all the dankest of the dank. On my left, the oldest ninja in the world, Old Ninja.
And the ting goes good up. Give it a pop pop.
Wow. I know exactly what he's talking about, too. Yeah.
All right, on my far right, engineering on the ones and twos, joking people out on threes and fours, Chronos.
The Infinity Base, this is 2.0, is getting packed up. Get ready for the Infinity Base 3.0 in about a month and a half. So
there you go. No partition.
Yeah.
On my far, and last but not least, we got your boy Blue.
Fighting crime by moonlight, saving love by daylight. There's no one out there. His name is Sailor Moon Rider. Wait, what's his name? Shit, fuck that up.
Mummin Rider?
No. Fucking Moon Knight Rider. The memes are coming out for the show, and I have to agree with it.
I still haven't watched it. I need to watch it. I've been busy.
Sailor Moon Knight.
I have not seen the latest Moon Knight.
All right. Here
last week episode. Goddamn.
Oh, yeah.
Good shit. All right, Kronos, what you got for us? Whomst have you doing it for?
I have the things. Let me just bring up all the things because it's kind of a few, and I kind of forgot to pull them all up. So, yeah, first in the chat is so far I can't see anybody because I just pulled it up. But listener of the week would be Anthony. Thank you very much, Anthony, for listening. We definitely appreciate it. And going back to the chat, yeah, still nobody in there, so it's all right.
Just started. We'll folks on CP time. It's all good.
Yeah.
Old Ninja, you usually got something frothy, something malty, and urban. Whomst have you pouring it out for this time?
It's never frothy, bro. It's never frothy.
You ain't trying hard enough. Then you need to make it frothy. I'm just saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
It can't be frothy. It's got to be cold and malty.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I guess not. We're going to pour one out tonight. Pour some Colt 45 out for your boy Guilford Gottfried. Iconic comedian and actor. Was sometimes controversial. And he had a huge resume in TV and films. He had an iconic, exaggerated shrill of a voice, which he used with crude humor in both stand-up and film. He was on season 6 of Saturday Night Live. His probably his most recognizable role is the voice of Iago the Parrot from the animated film Aladdin, which he also reprised the role in the sequels and the animated series. The 1990 film Problem Child he was the voice of Krang in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3D animated series. He's also the voice of the Aflac Duck from Aflac Insurance.
He was until he got fired.
He's been doing stand-up since the age of 15. Some of his aforementioned controversies I've mentioned included at the 43rd Primetime Emmys. He made an endless series of masturbation jokes in reference to Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman, for his arrest masturbating in an adult movie theater.
Wait, hold up. For those of you who are too fucking young to remember this, Pee Wee Herman was one of the biggest fucking children's stars in the fucking world. He had his own, obviously, his high-profile TV series. He had some movies and all that. He was super famous with little kids. But wasn't it a Florida fucking...
He was in a adult movie theater, and he was caught jerking off.
Yeah. I thought it was in Florida. Maybe it wasn't. But it was like...
It was wherever.
He was Florida, man.
It was this huge scandal at the time because he had this kind of squeaky clean image with Pee-wee's Playhouse, at least to me as a kid. You know, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But that was a huge deal, and it was the series of jokes for years and years and years.
Yeah,
That dude never aged.
He didn't come back until like Buffy the Vampire. Was it Buffy? Yeah, the Vampire Slayer, the movie. Where he's like, he had one of the funniest deaths of all fucking time on in a movie. Yeah, I got to go back and watch that shit. It was so funny.
Yeah. So when it aired, the viewers on the East Coast, they saw the entire live set. but since it aired on Fox, Fox censored the broadcast for the West Coast. So Fox issued an apology, not necessarily on his behalf, but they said that his jokes were irresponsible and insulting. There's a documentary film on Gottfried's life simply called Gilbert. This was put out in 2017. He has his own podcast, Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast, which started in 2014 and was running until his untimely death. This featured discussions of classic movies, celebrity interviews, most often veteran actors, comedians, musicians, and comedy writers. He died of a rare disease, a type 2 myotonic dystrophy. Dystrophy. There you go. He was 67.
Damn.
If y'all want to hear some of the funniest shit of all time, find him reciting the lyrics to WAP.
Oh shit!
It's quite good. It's quite good.
Dude,
It's hilarious.
Interesting, like you have I like tried looking up Pee Wee Herman, and I was like, they're not talking about his like masturbation thing. I was like, oh, that's right, he has a real name. It's Paul Rubin. Pee Wee has his own wiki, and Paul Rubin has his own.
Paul Rubin had his
They're
playhouse.
the same person.
Yeah, it's funny because it's funny. He's in Batman Returns. He plays the father of Penguin.
Plays the Penguin.
He
He's
doesn't
also
speak.
in he's also in Gotham. He plays.
No, he
the father of
reprised.
Penguin.
Yeah, he shows up as the
Yeah.
father of Penguin again. He reprises his role pretty much,
That was pretty dope.
even though it's not really connected.
Dude, as much as we talk about like that, what was it, 92 animated Aladdin movie and how great it was, especially with Robin Williams, and we gave him all this credit because he was brilliant as a genie. Iago really fucking brought it just as much as like Mufasa with James Earl Jones or Jeremy Irons as Scar. Like that movie had some of the best voice acting of all time, and Gilbert Gottfried was one of the greats with that shit.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you had two good comics, Gilbert, and you had Robin Williams, and everyone remembers Iago. Like when I mention this to other people, they're like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Do you remember Aladdin? Do you remember the voice of the parrot?" And they're like, "Oh my god, that guy I'm on." There they go. And I'm pretty sure they got the image of what he looked like because they've seen him before.
Yep.
But everyone remembers Iago. You mentioned Iago the parrot, and they instantly think Aladdin. They already know who you're talking about. It's pretty crazy.
When I found out that the guy from Full House, Steve, DJ's boyfriend, was the voice of Aladdin, I was like, no fucking way. There's no fucking way. That can't be him. Like I didn't learn that until maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, goddamn, I didn't even know.
Who did Gilbert didn't do the? I never saw the Will Smith Aladdin one live action. Who did the parrot?
He wasn't in it.
There's no parrot. Yeah, there's no parrot in the film.
They removed Iago? Fuck. God damn.
I mean, he's there, but he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Then, what's name's not in it either? Abu.
Yeah, there's no. Well,
no monkey.
He has a monkey.
Yeah, Abu's not in it.
He doesn't talk. Yeah, he has a monkey. He just doesn't talk. Yeah, there's a monkey.
Abu didn't really like do English words in the animated movie either, though.
He was like Scooby Doo. He made like sounds that would make you think he was speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were high, yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's I know this movie. This is pretty funny, but a lot of people don't like this movie. The Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West, but Gilbert Gottfried's in it. He plays Abraham Lincoln.
Wow.
Which is hilarious because Gilbert Gottfried is probably like maybe 5'4" or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious.
Good shit.
Why he was fired from Geico, or not Geico, from
Affleck.
Affleck. Yeah.
Why was he fired from Affleck?
Well, there was a controversy. He said something, and they turned around and dropped him. And like for a while, the Affleck didn't talk in the commercials because they couldn't find anybody to replace him.
Yeah,
it's kind of
his voice is one of the time.
Yeah,
I'd have waited for them to find somebody that had a voice like me and then sue the fuck out of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's my likeness, bitch.
I should mention he has a film coming out later on. There's no release date, but it's in pre-production. It's called Hassle at the Castle.
If it's in pre-production, how is he in it?
It's always a little creepy. Not creepy, but it's like it's weird when you know someone's already passed and you're seeing their work. You know, like 1 or 2 movies that were in the can or whatever, or were
pre-production,
post-production.
post-production.
Yeah, it's always a trip, but
Yeah,
rest
just
in
like
peace.
Chadwick Boseman, he had that the jazz film came out
Mhm.
like months after he passed.
Yep.
So
So,
the reason why Gilbert was let go from Affleck was because of some tweets he made about Japan after an earthquake. He tweeted
oh
out,
fuck.
"Japan is really advanced. They don't go to the beach. The beach comes to them."
Oh
Oh,
my
Wow.
god.
And
All
he
right.
also tweeted out, "Japan called me. They said maybe those jokes are a hit in the U.S., but over here they're all
they're
sinking."
washed. That's all
Yeah.
bad. It's all bad. So check this out. Affleck does 75% of its business in Japan. Holy
Damn.
shit.
You know, it's cause
Damn.
and effect.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
God damn. Any others, old ninja?
No, that's all I got.
Yeah, that was
Who's
kind
it?
of
Stella Harris. Is that
Yeah, who the
from
fuck?
last week?
I don't know who that is. Was it
That was
last?
from last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
good shit.
There's
All
a
right.
lot of old shit on here on the list.
Yeah. No one's updated
Yeah.
the list.
I
But
added in 3 things for me, but yeah, it's kind of the
okay.
middle of shit. So
All
Hey,
right.
I got some new stuff for you.
what do you got?
All right. Who want to start it off?
So I know that Blue's been asking us like for the past week about this, and
About a
no one's
month.
had it. No, it's been the past week because it just came out, which is Sonic 2. And I had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been going off like almost every day. You ask at least one question about this film. Has anybody seen it? Do they plan on seeing it? Yeah, and we're like, no one. Everyone's been like, no, not yet. But everyone seemed to plan on wanting to see it. I saw it yesterday.
All right.
So it was weird because like I don't know how they pulled this off, but they managed to
Computers?
put they put in a family film, an action adventure
them.
film, a romantic comedy, and like a buddy kind of like a buddy cop film, and they let Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey and stitched it all together into a film. On paper, none of that shit should work, but it did. It worked actually pretty fucking well. I mean, they kind of stuck to a formula, but they expanded a bit to it, and it was actually pretty good. I was actually kind of like it was on the par that I expected, and I expected it to be, family friendly and a little somewhat snuck in a couple of adult jokes, but there's more people in it. Like there's Shamar Moore's in it. I didn't expect that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was in the film. He has a pretty interesting role. They do the classic. You know how Robotnik always had like machines that look like him.
Yeah.
they do this, but it's like the size of a tower, and it's great. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. They let Jim Carrey just be him within the role of Robotnik. I mean, he doing what he normally does with his weird like body mechanic like jokes and stuff, but he still manages to be Robotnik. Idris Alba as Knuckles, he was like very very. It's what's he kind of like? I guess he's kind of like a warrior version of Spock, where he takes everything very seriously and he's very logical and he doesn't get like nuances and jokes. He doesn't understand it, so it makes it even more funny. But I was actually. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can't remember what his Knuckles voice was like from the games.
Well, in the first
I don't
game,
know.
he didn't have a voice because back in the day,
Did
nobody had voices.
he didn't talk at all, right?
Yeah,
Was it till like
Sonic?
I think like Sonic Adventure 2 is the first time we heard like Sonic talk, but in the TV show, actually Knuckles never was in the TV show. It was only Sonic and Tails that were in the animated show, but Sonic was voiced by Urkel.
Jaleel White. Jaleel,
Yeah.
that's his name, right? Jaleel White? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so the lady that voices Tails from the animated show, she's in the film. They
Nice.
put she's the voice of Tails in the feature, and she's gotten a lot of praise from going from voice actor to big Hollywood movie. I mean, granted, we have Jen Taylor, who's the voice of Cortana, reprising her role as Cortana on the TV show, but we're talking like this is a $70 million opening for Sonic 2, and Jen Taylor got to be a part of it, going from voice actress to, big live action, replaying a role she's already familiar with, and it worked out very nice. It was good to hear Tails, like, as you remember, everything kind of, I mean, there's some silliness, of course, but they kind of reel it back in and make it, put some seriousness to it. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously this sets up a sequel, so I'm looking forward to the sequel. So I'm hoping Jim Carrey comes back because this is a lot with him in it. I mean, he's in it and they just let him wild out. It works. It works. I mean, you're just like when you see him, you're like, that's classic Jim Carrey. But it works with him with that funky mustache and shit. It's pretty awesome.
If I'm counting correctly, there's been 2 fucking Sonic movies that have come out during the fucking pandemic. Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And
They've made big money.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I finally watched the first one after much convincing with my my 5-year-old who watched it. She loved it. I really liked it too. Like I thought it was. I think they broke the curse of like the shitty video game movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
I mean,
there's
Even if you take in the fact that like the original trailer that came out, he looked horrible. Like
yeah.
the fact that they went back and edited that part, it just shows how great the movie could be. And I love the movie. I own it. I have it on. I have a digital copy of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a great movie.
So I mean, it's funny if you look at the highest grossing video game movies, most of them are like kind of family kid friendly, like Angry Birds, Sonic, Detective Pikachu. I think I'm missing one, but those have been high. Those movies raked in money, but they're aimed towards like the younger family type stuff. But the ones that are aimed towards adults, I mean, they either do okay or they don't do very well at all.
Yeah, Doom.
Doom was one, even though I thought Doom was kind of interesting because you have The Rock as the villain, which at the time was kind of unusual because he's usually always the good guy. And then nobody knew who Carl Urban was at the time. And then Uncharted, even though I liked the film, it did actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure they made a profit.
That movie.
Yeah, Uncharted was actually pretty decent, but the adult fans, they want to see what made the game great to them. Instead, they get like a facsimile of the game. It's like its own original story, and they get mad. They're like, well, this isn't like the game. It's similar to the game, but not exact. So they're like, well, I don't want to see it, or I didn't like it, or whatever.
Oh,
So it's kind of hard to please them.
did y'all hear that?
I mean, we already
hold on,
knew.
real quick. Hold on, pause real quick. Thank you very much to Mile High Blurred for donating to us. We appreciate it. Let me just get there you go, the applause in the background that y'all can't hear, but definitely our listeners can. Thank you very much, Mile High Blurred.
Yeah, no, can't hear.
Super chat.
Well, one cool thing about the Sonic franchise, it's got a big game behind it. Like they got the game, they have the TV show, they have like the movies, they have like stuff that's on Disney and whatever. I think it's on Disney. Yeah. And there's like Sonic X, like that show did pretty well. But I think kind of the nostalgia of it is probably why a lot of people came out to watch it, because it's loosely kind of translated off of the. No, I guess not. It's not loosely translated off the video games because you'll be in a different world and not on Earth. But no, I think they did a really good job with Sonic, and I probably will go watch it. I don't know. I'm sure when I'll be able to watch it. I wanted to see it tomorrow, but one of the showings is like at 3, and it's 2 hour long. I won't be able to pick up my son.
I honestly, I think one of the main reasons why the movie did so well is because they actually fixed the character model. Because it's like one of the first times ever where the masses made a movie, changed the movie, like after the first trailer, and like the first character design of Sonic was kind of shitty. It was pretty shitty. And like everybody was complaining, and then they changed it, and it was like, oh, like we can do this, like what? So, and then people were like, okay, they changed it, so let's go watch it. Like, if you complained about it and they changed it to the way you liked it, then you need to go watch it. I think a lot of people came out especially during the pandemic. It was really a surprise that people went out to go watch it. But yeah, it was a hit. And it was well done, and they deserve all the stuff they got for that movie. So
yeah. This will most likely be
the first one was the last movie I saw in the theater before the pandemic. So I haven't seen a movie in like 2 years in the theater.
Oh, was it before the pandemic? I thought it was like during the pandemic. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think its whole run got cut short because of the pandemic.
Did it come out in like March?
Yeah,
Probably came out in March.
Yeah.
March 2020. Like maybe February.
Something like that. But
it came out April. Wait, no, that's 22.
It came out in 2020. 2020.
When I was looking at looking at the one for this year,
Release
the
date? Oh.
Sonic 2.
Yeah, look at the first one. Pretty sure it's probably March.
Oh, it came out. It came out on Valentine's Day, February
It
14th.
was February. Okay,
Oh.
so yeah, it was just before the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
And made a ton of money.
Wait, it came out twice. It came out January 25th at Paramount Theaters, and then it came out February 14th.
There was a lot of weird stuff going on with the pandemic, with dates and all that.
Well, this is
Yeah.
before the pandemic, though. So
Yeah,
February was definitely
like-
before the American pandemic, anyway.
it was a couple of months before the pandemic.
Mm.
Well, I can't even say American
And then
pandemic. 'Cause
bam.
pandemic is worldwide, but it was before it was known that there was a pandemic. Because the pandemic actually started like in 2019, but nobody knew.
Yeah.
Remember?
So, yeah.
Yep, this is true.
So I was
go
gonna say this will be the first video game movie series to get like a trilogy. Everyone else is, if they got lucky, they got two
Whoa,
films.
hold on.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
What are we talking
Resident
about?
Evil has like 9 movies, dude.
But those aren't real films.
Well, what about the Mortal Kombat?
Tomb Raider,
I was gonna say Tomb
Mortal-
Raider. Yeah,
Tomb Raider had 2 films. Did they have 3?
3.
One was a remake.
there's still 3
Okay,
movies.
I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
they're not connected.
all right, fair enough. But I mean, Resident Evil with Alice, that's like 9 movies.
Who?
Yeah.
Who's that? I don't know her. I don't know her.
All right.
I know a Jill.
I mean, I'm not saying they were all any good, but we got to give them credit.
I mean, you do what you want.
Damn.
I'll give credit for the first 1.5, I guess.
Good enough. Yeah, I'm excited about this franchise. I would have seen it this weekend, just kid wasn't feeling well, and I wanted to see it with the kids. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try to see it this coming weekend. I've heard nothing but kind of like people really enjoying it, really fucking with it. Is Knuckles is he like Idris Elba's British voice, or does he try to do the American thing?
I think he does something different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does like a different in between type thing. He tries to. I can't place it, but he does something different. It's definitely not his British like normal voice, but it's like an offshoot.
In the show, in the TV series, like the animated series, they kind of give him not a Jamaican accent, but something similar to it. Just because he's like Knuckles is like he's almost like a Rastafarian.
Echidna.
He's got dreads.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to say kind of to go with Blue. It's kind of close to maybe like a Haitian or Jamaican, but it's not like super deep. It's kind of weird. It's a different kind of. It's definitely not his like American style like accent.
Okay.
It's a different. I can't really place it how he did it, but it works. The voice that he does worked very well. So
It's kind of funny because if you look up like most echidnas and compare them to a hedgehog, they look pretty much the fucking same. Like, I mean, one has a longer nose, but that's about it. They have quills. They look like if you just saw one just walking around, you'd be like that's probably a hedgehog.
Oh yeah.
Unless some of them have crazy long noses, but most of them, some of them have like just slightly longer nose. So
There you go.
I mean, hedgehogs are hella small. They like fit in the palm of your hand.
yeah, so
They
do echidnas.
But it's funny to me because when I was playing Sonic, I didn't realize that
Oh, that was really good.
hedgehogs are not that big. I was
No.
like, what the hell? They made this big ass franchise in this little ass fucking thing.
So
They also
apparently,
can't run fast.
apparently, a Tasmanian echidna is fucking gigantic.
Oh,
So
Shit.
yeah.
okay.
I wonder who will win in a
Like
fight.
raccoon
Like,
size? What is gigantic? Raccoon size?
Like a quarter of a human size, maybe a little bit bigger than that, maybe a third of a human size.
What
Damn.
the fuck?
Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
I'm looking at a picture of one and like a guy's arm is in the background and it's just like he's a hefty boy.
Like a-
Damn.
Like a size of a dog, it sounds like then. God damn.
Yeah, like a decent sized dog. Yeah,
What the
this one's
fuck?
kind of chunky, so
Tasmania got it all weird.
Yeah,
and
and they
Jurassic
try to kill you out there. God dang.
Park. God damn. All right, good shit, good shit. So, you giving it? What you giving it out of 10 then, old ninja?
I'm giving it a solid 7.5. 7.5.
Well worth seeing. All right.
It's definitely
hopefully I
worth
can
seeing,
see that next
especially,
podcast.
if you have kids. If you have kids, they'll love the shit out of this fucking film. And if you're a Jim Carrey fan, this is definitely a must see because this could potentially be his last film. We don't know yet.
Ain't no way.
I
Unless
mean,
he's sick. Is he sick or
no,
something?
he's talking about retiring.
He ain't retiring.
Oh, you never know, man. I
Ain't
mean,
no
he may
way.
stop doing films for a couple years or something.
He might take
Who knows?
a break, but he ain't stopping. Ain't no way.
Hey, I'm going off what he made a public statement that he's looking at retiring.
This
So
is the
there you
weird
go.
thing. It's like if you're an actor and you make like so much money at some point. I mean, you can just retire whenever you want.
Mhm.
This
So
is
why
true.
not?
This
Yeah.
is true. But it seems like he's still having fun with these movies. I mean, he was in these two during, or this one had to be filming during the pandemic, and he seemed to have a good time with it.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like his saying that I'm going to retire from acting is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to the Will Smith slapping comedian on stage because he was
Ooh.
super anti against that. I said anti against. It's the same fucking thing. Anyway, it's a double negative. He was very much against somebody coming on stage and then slapping a comedian because he's a comedian and yeah, that's totally
I'd like to
unacceptable.
see-
So
I'd like to see Jim Carrey maybe come back, maybe do some stand up again.
I want to see him
That'd
do
be
another goddamn Ace Ventura.
Oh,
gee,
yeah. Yeah, those are
even-
good.
Do the mask again, like the real mask too, because the other ones were just garbage.
Nah, fuck that. I need a sequel to what's that shit? The vampire film he did. Fuck.
Oh,
Once
Earth Girls Are
Bitten?
Easy.
No, Once
no,
Bitten. Once Bitten.
Yeah.
It's like an old like late '80s vampire film. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I would love a sequel to that because that'd be awesome.
Good
Awesome.
fucking
It's funny.
shit.
I watched Earth Girls Are Easy when the Earth Girls Easy podcast was going on. I went back and watched a movie that their name was from, and for some reason I remember Jim Carrey being like the main person in that show, but he isn't. It's what's the name?
Jeff Goldblum.
Dude from Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. He's like the main guy.
Mm-hmm. Good shit. Good shit.
Great movie.
All right. So you giving it a high review?
Mhm.
I can't wait to fucking see that shit. Here's what I was gonna say. Detective Pikachu need to step it up with their goddamn sequel then, because I really enjoyed that one too. And
Yeah, a
that
lot
one
of
I saw
people
first.
did. A lot of
Hmm?
people did. That made over 100 million, hundreds of millions. If I remember, it made a lot of money. I mean, but Ryan Reynolds is like doing hella projects. So.
That's true.
Speaking of which, we haven't talked about it, but someone put it on the list is the Project Adam film he made for Netflix.
That was quite
Oh,
good.
who
Yeah,
saw it?
on the list.
I watched it. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Prodigy, you watched this too or no?
No, I have not. But tell me about it.
Watch it with the
I haven't
kids.
even seen the trailer.
Blue, did you watch it?
Yeah, watch it.
You want to talk
I'm
about
the
it?
one I put it on the list last
Okay.
week.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so yeah,
about
it's very good. It's a good little sci-fi. There's a bunch of little Easter eggs here and there. Ryan Reynolds is being Ryan Reynolds, but yeah, it's just dude comes back from the future, try to change the timeline, fucks up, but it has some pretty cool sci-fi like effects. Like the ship that he flies in is pretty dope.
And,
He's
and
got, like,
definitely not lightsaber, but definitely lightsaber.
definitely lightsaber. But it's interesting because apparently the kid that plays that's in the movie, like I think he played him before. Like I think it's not his first time being in a movie with Ryan Reynolds. He played a child Ryan Reynolds before, which I think is kind of cool. I gotta look this up and make sure.
That would explain why he's actually pretty good at impersonating Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he literally was like a freaking 12-year-old Ryan Reynolds in like the first half of the film. I was just like, oh, this kid did his homework. He showed up he did his homework, and he says and does lines like Ryan Reynolds would, and he copies his mannerisms out of pretty well. So I'm like, this kid studied. So.
Yeah, he did his homework. But it's really interesting because we have a bunch of like Avengers in this movie, or Marvel people, because we have Marco Ruffalo, right?
Yeah,
That's his name, and we have Gamora. She's in it, and we got Ryan Reynolds. We got Deadpool, but like it's just funny to see them interact. And just there's one scene that had me just dying on the floor. I don't want to spoil it, but
we got Electra too.
funny.
Got Electra too.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's in there too.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah.
Oh, the other Electra.
Yeah, the other.
Yeah.
The
the not so good Electra. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
But overall, I thought it was really good, really well done, especially like the fact that it was filmed during a pandemic and the whole timeline and references to like Back to the Future and stuff like that was kind of funny. But yeah, overall, it was a good movie. I give it like probably like a 7.5.
Solid.
Yeah, I'd agree
What do you
with
guys think
that.
on it?
I mean, I really liked the movie too. It was surprising that it was so good. Like both me and K-Mac watched it. We both really liked it. Pretty much the same sentiments as Blue. Is the special effects were actually really excellent. You know, his not lightsaber thing was pretty cool, and like all the time travel stuff, and like it was well done. So
Yeah. The fact that we keep saying the lightsaber that wasn't a lightsaber, and the kid's like, "Is that a lightsaber?" He's like, "No, it's not a lightsaber."
but
And he
definitely
like
was a
hits
lightsaber.
people with these all. This is definitely a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I was like, "This is awesome. This is awesome."
It's
I mean,
def-
it was a fun film.
it definitely wasn't a lightsaber because they definitely wanted to pay LucasArts anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay that money. But it was,
Well, it didn't cut like lightsaber, so that's one thing. Look at
but
this poof.
it looked and sounded like one. It was pretty funny. But yeah, the film was fun. It was great. It was interesting to see where the storyline was going, especially when he like watches himself get beaten up as a kid. I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable film. I think Netflix had like that was worthy of the theaters, in my opinion. But
Oh, yeah, for
I think
sure.
Netflix nabbed a good film and you know put it out there, and it's definitely I would give it also a 7.5.
And so y'all are saying that it's actiony and funny at the same time, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Especially when he's like such an
Yeah.
asshole to like his younger self. It's hilarious. He's a straight up asshole to his younger self.
Mhm.
Which
But
I
his
would be
younger
too.
self,
Yeah.
his younger self is an asshole to everybody else,
Yeah.
which is funny.
But he gets his ass beat.
He does. They're running around.
So
Go ahead.
I was going to say, old Ninja. So I haven't seen it yet, but was it your intro that was talking about Moon Knight, or was that Blue?
That was Blue.
My
Yeah,
butchered
so
intro.
tell us
Yeah,
about
can't be gems.
what's going on. What was the Sailor Moon reference? What is all this?
Yeah, so I watched episode 1 and 2 yesterday, and there's a scene where he you know how like in Sailor Moon when she puts her clothes on and it kind of just wraps around her? Like there's a scene where his clothes kind of wraps around him too, but then like he has like a moon shaped like throwing star thingy or whatever that makes that it's a huge reference to Sailor Moon too, because she takes off her tiara and she throws it or whatever. But it was just funny when I saw it, because I saw the memes first about that, and then I saw the show. I was like, oh, that's where this is coming from. But overall, it's a really good show. Like I'm actually surprised. I wasn't very interested in watching it, but I decided to watch it anyway. But yeah, it's pretty good for especially a Disney TV series. But Disney's out there killing it with they're definitely throwing money at this show like they do all their other Marvel TV series. But yeah, just the acting is really good. The fight scenes, what is it called? The
Choreography.
Choreography. There it is. That's all pretty good. But yeah, the Moon Knight is actually pretty dope character so far. And like there was a comic I saw where he talks to Thor and he tells him how like he doesn't know the true power of Mjolnir, and like it's basically just made out of like moon particles or something like that. It was an interesting comic I came across. But yeah, I'm enjoying the show. What's your take on it, Onija?
Yeah. Oh, I know the panel you're talking about. It's because apparently Mjolnir is made from the same cosmic stuff as from the Big Bang. So from the Big Bang, the rocks that it's formed from created Mjolnir, and then Moon Knight says basically your hammer is made from a moon rock, and which gave Moon Knight power over it. So it was kind of interesting to watch that panel. Yeah, like I said, I mentioned this like maybe 2 weeks ago because I don't think we talked about it last week. But yeah, like there's big production values in this show. Like it looks like movie quality episodes. I'm like, what the hell? And like Oscar Isaac, he brings it. He's able to just wild out in this show. He's able to play multiple characters but be in the same body, so he doesn't have to put like a ton of makeup on. He's just got to put on like one pretty cool suit, and then the other one is like literally like a it's all white like slacks and like a vest, and then he just puts a mask on and like some gloves, and it's his costume. But he has the Sailor. It looks like the Sailor Moon, moon shape on the top of the mask. But it's still pretty cool. He kicks ass in it. It's weird watching this person with the multiple dissociative order being a hero, because he's confused, because he's not always in control. There's other personalities taking control when he blacks out. So it's like it's jarring to the viewer, because when he blacks out and you come back to his character Steven, he doesn't know what happened, but there's dead bodies everywhere, or he's covered in blood. And then he's able to see these like creatures, like we see these like ancient like Egyptian. I forgot what they call them. They're like these, they're like Egyptian dogs. There's an exact name for them, but he's like the only one that sees them. And so people around him think he's like drunk or lost his mind, but he's like really getting messed up. Then they see him getting thrown across like the street or the room, and they're like, "Oh, something else is going on here." So
like people are getting knocked down out of nowhere.
Yeah, so it's like it's really cool to see the effects are like really good for just like this TV show. Like I said, Oscar Isaac brings it. There's a huge level of mystery. Ethan Hawke, he's kind of like this creepy Rasputin type guy, and it's like it's kind of weird, but I can't tell if he has powers or if he controls magic. So it's kind of weird.
Wouldn't that be powers? I mean,
are they not separate? I mean, because like, Captain Marvel has powers, but is that magic?
I mean, would you consider Stephen Strange or Doctor Strange to have powers?
Well, he says his powers are magic.
There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, like
you answered the question.
But that's what that character by themselves. I mean,
that's pretty much every. I think magic is a power. So.
Well, so then the Hulk has magic?
No, the Hulk has power. His power isn't magic. His power is overwhelming strength and regeneration.
Who said it? Was it Tony Stark that says that magic is just science that hasn't been figured out yet?
Yeah.
Thor says that too. So,
would Thor be magic?
Thor,
yes, 100%.
He says he controls magic. So,
but is his lightning powers?
Yes, his lightning powers are magic. Which is why he would beat down Superman. Fuck all you Superman fuckboys. Just saying. Thor would win. His lightning is magic.
I think it's Shazam.
Supes is an alien, man.
Huh?
He is an alien.
But
Superman is an alien, but he's vulnerable to magic. Yeah. And people
he is vulnerable to magic, but he hasn't been killed by magic. So,
well, he's been killed by physical force, which definitely Thor can bring that too. So
physical force that equals his own power.
Yeah, I mean he's up there with Superman's strength. I'm pretty sure. And he has magic, plus Mjolnir. Like, I think. Well, actually, this is the interesting thing is I'm pretty sure Superman could wield Mjolnir. So. That'd be interesting.
I think that would be interesting. I have a feeling that that's already been like in one of the comics already.
I wonder if Batman could do it.
No, Batman could not wield Mjolnir. All the trauma he did to those kids, what he did to Nope. Well,
fucking Thor would go around killing people for the fun of it. Fucking Frost Giants were all minding his business. He just wanted to go hang out and kick some ass or some shit. So, and that's what got him banned. That's why his dad put the curse on him. It's like, you can't touch this until you're worthy.
Them Frost Giants had it coming.
Yeah, he was like, I'm pulling you. He was like, I'm pulling you over. Just whooped on their asses.
But back to Moon Knight. I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm gonna watch tonight's episode probably after the podcast. But so far, I know very, very, very little about this character. But what the show has given me has gotten me interested in the character, and the show I'm very entertained by. So
good.
There you go. Shit. There's a couple things. Oh, is anybody watching Halo except for me?
I think it's just you. I want to watch it. My mind's been on other things, unfortunately, lately. But,
yeah, because you're about to uproot.
It's more than just that.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
but the one of the big things that you've shared with the listeners is that you're about to uproot.
Yeah.
So,
But I guess my thing is I would love to start watching Halo. I got more time on my hands now. It's like behind a paywall with Paramount though, right?
yeah, it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So,
right.
if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, you can watch the show for free.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So some people didn't know, but yeah, you can watch the game for free. And for some reason, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, updated the other day, so now you can cross play the game with like PC and like older generations because the Master
Don't
Chief
play with the
Collection wasn't
PCs.
doing that.
Don't
Yeah,
play with the PC people.
too late. Too
Yeah,
late.
they're gonna fuck
Already
you
done.
up.
What?
Just saying.
What was
Already
that? I mean, Sony had a show that was available on the PlayStation that
Power?
was just really,
Oh,
really
Powers?
bad.
Was it
Yeah,
Powers?
that show was. I tried watching it. It was really bad.
That was a long
I've
time
never-
ago.
Yeah.
That was back in the original G4 TV days.
Mhm.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. But yeah, Halo. I'm on the newest episodes tonight, so I've seen the first 3 episodes, and I'm okay with it so far. There's some things that I've had some gripes with, but
So this is a Master Chief story, and is it like in between Halo 1, 2, or 3, or Reach, or where is it in the timeline?
so because they say this is kind of different from the timeline, Reach it's kind of weird. Reach is still intact, and their UNSC home base, their HQ is on Reach. So it's hard to tell what this is in the game. I feel like this is a completely separate kind of thing. I mean, you don't see the Covenant as much, which is kind of cool. I get apparently they have that kind of pre-reach kind of storyline because when the first episode starts, they're still kind of at Civil War. They reach the armistice, sorta, and they're trying to maintain the armistice with their colonies, but then they're aware of the Covenant, and the Covenant comes in and starts wiping out people in very, very graphic manner. Um, the most recent episode, they literally show people beating like not a middle, like a middle schooler. The kid's like 12. They literally beat this kid to death, and you watch this kid get beaten until he's bleeding. I'm
God
just like,
damn.
holy shit, yeah. The show does shit like that every now and then. I'm just like, they really like killing kids. So I'm just like, what the fuck? But
Is Master Chief at least like, what is he supposed to be, like 7 feet tall or some shit? In the
so
lore?
Master Chief, all the Spartans that they've shown so far, because it's not just Master Chief, it's his original squad, like you see in Halo 5. It's him and his squad. They're taller than everybody. They wear, the Mjolnir armor. But the thing is, a lot of people didn't like, as I kind of am a little with them, is that you see Master Chief without his helmet in the very first episode. So it's a little weird. I was hoping they would save it, but they took it off. I know it's a plot point, blah, 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 but it's still kind of strange. He's been out of the suit for 2 episodes. Now he's kind of put it back on. They just introduced Cortana. It's weird because in the game, Cortana is integrated into the suit. In the show, Cortana is integrated into his body. She's inserted into his cerebral cortex.
She's in his ass?
She's no, well,
She's a
they
Fuda.
show his ass.
It's
It's all bad.
that Fuda violation.
It's all bad. Yeah, they take a clone of Dr. Halsey, melt her brain into like a chip, and then they take the chip and implant it into Master Chief. It's funny to me that the fan base is crying that Dr. Halsey is too young. The actress that plays Dr. Halsey is 52 years old.
What the fuck?
She used to be a model, so she still looks kind of like she looks like she's 32.
Okay.
So in the show she's actually probably older than what Dr. Halsey should be. So I don't think people realize that when they didn't look up the actress.
The thing I kept hearing from a controversial standpoint with the Halo fans was Cortana not being blue, and all them folks were all kind of upset about that shit. Did they change it, or is she still human looking?
So when you see Cortana, she's blue when you first meet her.
Oh,
But as she moves on, she kind of has like her face is kind of like flesh colored, kind of, but the rest of her is kind of blue. So
How did they
I mean,
fuck up that so badly though? Like everybody likes
so
Cortana already.
it's not. The
Apparently,
thing
they don't
is,
like their blue.
yeah, they only liked her blue, and Cortana looks exactly the way she does in Halo 5 and Infinite. It's
But
exactly the same thing. The only thing different is she's a little flesh colored, not
Well,
even
you would-
like heavily.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If you're in the fucking future where you have some crazy ass fucking spacesuit where you can survive anything, you have all this other crazy technology, but for some reason all your holograms are only in blue, that's fucking weird and stupid.
Yeah, that was part of my argument as well. I'm like, dude, if they're in that advanced, it's really not that hard to give her color to make
Yeah,
her flesh
it
color.
doesn't make any
I
fucking
think more
sense.
fans, I think more fans are upset that she's not like naked looking because in Halo 1 and 2, she's
Oh, here
pretty
we
much
go.
naked. And so people are all just upset, like, oh, how come Cortana doesn't look like she did in the original games? It's like, dude, she's basically naked. Like, you don't need that. She looks like she does in Halo 5 and Infinite, which
but
I'm
didn't you
perfectly
just say
fine
we
with.
see Master Chief's naked ass and shit?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You've seen Master Chief's naked ass, and
What the
it's
fuck?
crazy. There's also so the Covenant have a human that they kind of like adopted because they believe that she can also access the artifacts, and you see her butt ass naked, like
Okay.
head to toe naked.
So there's
So
there is nudity. It's not
yeah,
like
there's nudity in the second episode. There's graphic violence. Kids get killed, and there's nudity.
okay.
So
All right. So
that's
Well,
it's a grown up show.
and
it's a grown up
it
show.
would be kind of weird if you had like some AI entity in your head that was semi-naked the whole time. It's like, I mean, the horniness would
Right.
take over at some point. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Sounds like a party.
So I'm on board still. I mean, the story is kind of like because they introduced a new character. It's kind of like at first it seems like she's going to be Master Chief's ward, but he dumps her off with like a former Spartan. So they're going off on their own story. I'm like, I guess, but I haven't read the Halo books or the comics, so this could be a part of that. I don't
You ain't a
know.
Halo fan.
Well,
What-
if you say so.
I
Did
did.
they explain? Did they explain the goddamn Chevy Tahoe from the trailer?
Chevy Tahoe.
Yeah, in
there's
the
a
trailer
certain-
there was
yeah.
like an obvious 1999, 2000, early 2000 Chevy Tahoe.
Oh, that's on the colony. Yeah, that's the colony worlds. That's what they scavenged together and
Okay.
built it. Is like to attack because they don't have like the money and resources like the
Yeah,
rest
no,
of the
because
UNSC.
just like in today's time when we scavenged together a fucking Ford Model A, those parts are widely available. You know, you just scavenge them anywhere. Model A.
Oh shit! But you liking it though?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with it so far. It's not super egregious, except for the thing about Cortana and him taking off his helmet. But I'm able to let that go. I'm just trying to stick with the story because they're trying to hold back on some stuff, which is fine. They haven't talked about the flood. They haven't shown. They've only shown elites and the prophets. They haven't shown grunts. They haven't shown brutes, and no flood. So I'm
Here's what
hoping
I
they
don't
show
hear-
that later.
Here's what I don't hear you talking about, which has me kind of concerned: is the action good or not?
Oh, yeah, actually, pretty good. Yeah, that's where
Okay.
all the gore comes from.
Okay.
It's everyone gets blown up, gets fucked up. Hand-to-hand combat's pretty good. The weapons are exactly from the game. So, but the last two episodes have been more story-driven, so there hasn't
Okay.
been as much action. So I'm waiting to see what tonight's episode is going to be about. So
Good shit. Good shit. All right. Did we lose Blue, or is he just off camera?
He's just muted and camera's off. So
Alright.
he can hear us though, because I know he has his Bluetooth headset in. I'm just saying.
There you go. Okay.
maybe he's putting on his Batman suit.
Maybe. All right, let me talk for a little bit here. So I'll give a shout out to an app that I've been waiting a long time to use. Probably a good like 3 to 5 months, maybe even 6 months. Jesus Christ, it's been a while. It's an app called the Wisdom app, and I got me and actually our podcast and Balance Exchange podcast also got hit up to be top mentors on this app called the Wisdom app. But it was when it came out, it was for iPhone only. It was only iOS. So I was just like, okay, well, I can't use this app. I'm not going to buy an iPhone just for this goddamn app. But it's a cool app. So the app basically I talked about it like probably months ago. But basically, you can chat with you can start like a radio station, and then you have the ability to like bring callers in like really organically. So if you're talking about a subject and then somebody wants to talk about what you're talking about, you can admit them in, and then you can talk together for like however long you want. I think like the default time is like I think 5 or 10 minutes. I think it's 10 minutes. So it was interesting. So I finally got to use it the other day because they finally dropped on Android. So as soon as it dropped on Android that same week, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do wisdom talk on this app, and it was actually pretty cool because I decided to talk about sort of a lesser known thing because I was thinking about like how people are kind of like snobs about certain things and they don't realize it, and trying to have like a better mindset on things. So my subject was actually on a thing called egg corns, which probably nobody knows about, but it's a thing where um, it actually happens with Blue all the time. I actually brought it up on the podcast. I actually brought it up on the talk. Is that it's a misunderstood term by people. I have to bring up like an actual. It's just like even saying egg corn. People are just like, you mean acorn? No, I mean egg corn. And like some of the examples would be like when somebody like says a phrase. Like I'm trying to bring up one because I can't remember all of them because there's hundreds of thousands of them that come up all the time.
You mean like when people say, "Luke, I am your father"?
Yeah, that's a good one. Another one would be Jesus Christ. Like saying coleslaw instead of cold slaw, saying old timers disease instead of Alzheimer's.
Hey,
a dog eat dog world instead of a dog eat dog world.
So to my credit, all these people kept saying old timers disease because all these old people were affected by it. So I thought it was a real thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them
So-
like saying a scapegoat instead of scapegoat. It's like a bunch of things like that, and it's like one of those things where people will like correct other people for like saying a mistaken phrase, but you know what the fuck they're talking about. So if you know what they're talking about, don't be so high on your horse to like correct them. And if they make a mistake, it's fine. But I think a lot of people that do that, they try to make it seem like they're better than them, and also like like a linguistic thing of like trying to be like a superior over others, and like kind of changing your mindset on like just maybe not be a dick as much, about stuff like that because people make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, especially with language and other things. Just to be kind of better about it, and it was cool because I had two callers. Call in. Like the first person that called in was actually funny because when you open up the Wisdom app, it immediately dumps you into like a popular conversation. And the person that had the conversation that when I first opened up the app and I started mine, she actually joined mine. And it was and we were I was talking about like cursive, like how we don't really use cursive like that much anymore and how I don't see the real need to use cursive. And then she brought up in a nice way that she knew, I think it was like her sister or something like that, was a teacher, and she said that cursive actually is important today because that's what our founding documents are in cursive. And if you don't know cursive, like you can't read them. And she said, yeah, I know that we can see it in print, but you still can't read the original documents because they're in cursive. I'm like, yeah, that is important. You're right. But at the same time, beyond cursive, they're also written in an old-timey ass fucking language. So that most people would have a misunderstanding of. To my point, even to this day, they still have different interpretations of certain things in the Constitution because of the way people that read them, because the words that they used back then are not applicable to today. So people like to be kind of wishy-washy on the interpretations, but it's still valid that these old documents back in the day, you can't, if you don't learn cursive, you can't read any of them.
Mm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. We had a really cool conversation. Like the last part when I was about to like get off the conversation, I was talking about rescue residents and what we're all about. And then somebody joined and she's like, oh, I'm interested in, the nonprofit because I guess her husband was trying to do a thing where he's a vet and he saw that there's like a lot of older vets that need help with like their properties being run down because they're older and just like around the house stuff. I'm like, how can they get help to like get like their basic needs met? as older veterans. And I was like, this actually would be a really good idea for our organization because we're going to have people that are going to need jobs. And that'd be a really good thing is like to help out other veterans to like just, clean up their house and, do their lawn, do some landscaping, help them organize, help them with like regular shit and like get them paid to do that. I was like, that's really a good idea. So I reached out to her on Instagram. She hasn't responded yet, but I mean, she asked me to reach out. So I did. So I did my due diligence.
Nice.
If she reaches out or not, it's up to her. But I thought it was a really cool idea that her husband had. So I would love to work with, and also if they just need help on navigating how to become like a nonprofit and actually get into the whole thing, I talked to the board and we're willing to like help them out with that. So if they want to reach out, please do so.
And if someone wants to get more information right now, where would they go?
Yeah, if you go to rescueresidents.org, that's like the basic thing. So my like short elevator pitch, I'm still working on it, is that basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to help veterans out that are experiencing homelessness. And when the president talked to me, Papa Bear from Balance Exchange, he said, what are your two, major things for ending, people experiencing homelessness? I was just like, the first one is they need a house first. They need a physical address. It's like the main thing. And the second thing was like, basically, it was kind of a convoluted way of like getting out of the area because they could be priced out of like where they're physically at. And so his idea to that was, let's take an old ambulance that's been retired, refurbish it and make it into an RV. That way we can give them a permanent address at an RV park immediately. And then also, if they're priced out of the area for a skill that they have, they can move somewhere else. And if they don't have the relevant skills, then we can use, various organizations to get them the skills that they need to have, a skill that's like relevant today. And so it's hitting on two fronts. We have other ideas as well, but that's the basic premise of Rescue Residents, is to get them immediately housed and into like temporary housing, and then build their own RV out of an old ambulance. And then if they need to, move their actual residence to another area that is more appropriate for their skill set.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very good.
And Matt and Becky from Pre-Recorded Live are actually part of the process because the first ambulance that we kind of accidentally bought happens to be in Ohio that was like 2 hours away from them. So the ambulance is bought. It's been repaired. There's a lot of shit to talk about that. But we're going to go fly out there and to pick it up probably within like the next month or so. But we actually have our first ambulance. That's going to be our demo vehicle. Excellent. So, yeah.
You posted the pics though, right?
I did. And actually, yeah. And we're on TikTok now too. We're trying to do like a TikTok video like every day, which is weird for us. We're fucking old people. So, or older people. But yeah, we're trying to make sure that we do a post every day. I haven't done one for me yet because I had an idea about one today or the past couple of days, but I had some serious shit that happened to me over the past week. So I wasn't in the right mindset, but hopefully somebody else used my idea from an organization and posted today. Mm-hmm. We're trying to do TikTok videos, like a minute video every day, like just talking about this issue and like trying to get the thing out there. And it's been really, really good so far. And we're still trying to raise money because we're trying to raise money for us to like fly out there to pick up the ambulance and drive back. So it's been great.
Good shit. I love Matt and Becky. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're such good people.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn, did we lose 2 cast members or what the fuck?
I think we did.
All right. Well, we'll just keep it the fuck moving on. Holy shit.
No, it's all good, man. Let's see. I'm coming out your way within the next month. So
okay.
I'm trying to come up like you and my brother. So yeah.
Dude, it's now that I can like actually see some of San Diego and breathe a little bit, other than sleeping and working, it's really, really nice. Yeah, I'm excited about exploring down here. I'm excited about you coming down. I should see your brother and the family, I think on Saturday. I think they were going to come over, so that should be fun. Yeah, just more time with family and hanging out. I think my mom's coming next week or next month as well, and just to visit, and Cake Man's coming down, so it's just gonna be great.
Oh, when is he coming down?
I think he's coming around Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, well I'll be there by then. So it should be.
Yeah. So It'd be good. And then the other thing, just a quick shout out here in Chula Vista proper, they got, especially if you have young kids, you'll like this. They got an entire Sesame Street themed fucking theme park. You know, like Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland for Sesame Street with like all those characters of Grover and Elmo and all of that stuff. So I haven't been yet, but it's here in Chula proper. It just opened up, and I can't wait to take Kronos's kids. Probably my youngest might still be a good age for it. Cake Man's kids, obviously Blue and Stitch as well when they come down. I think it'll be a great event.
Yeah, I think it'll be great too. Even though, like, you know, my youngest, she doesn't really watch Sesame Street, but she knows the characters definitely, or she should. So she'll still enjoy it, and just getting out there will be nice because she's been like cooped up for a while. And we're trying to get her out there more now because the COVID numbers are looking pretty good, which I'm very happy about. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm happy about that too. We got I took my youngest to soccer practice on Saturday, and it was just fun to see. You know, she's running around with her friends, kicking a ball and whatnot, getting some fresh air, and I was like, you know, this is what it's all fucking about. You know?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
You're sitting there drinking some Coors Light and yelling at the ref.
Yeah,
and the coaches, that's the way to do it.
The fuck out.
Yeah.
The ref fucked up.
You got to bring your own yellow and red cards, just for the refs and the coaches.
There you go.
And you got to kick up, make believe dirt on them and shit.
Hell yeah, man.
Just kidding. That's what you do when you're white. You can't do it when you're black. So then you probably get fucking arrested. So
I have to get arrested immediately.
Yeah.
But the thing, I was trying to see both the Sonic movie. I obviously didn't make it to that, and I was trying to still see if it was still in theaters. That Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie.
Yeah.
I heard nothing but great things about it, but you know, one of my kids was sick part of the weekend, and so it just kind of snowballed or whatever. But I'm still trying to do that. See if I can sneak out maybe on Friday or whatever, because I do want to fucking support a good ass anime movie. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I've been trying to get out there, you know, more recently. So last week I actually went back to my jiu-jitsu gym.
Oh, nice.
So that's a huge deal personally for me because there's like a lot of shit that I'm not going to talk about on this podcast that happened. But I still went. I think the main reason why I went is because I knew I was going to move, and I wanted to make sure that I cleared the air with like my instructor and like my other fellow like people that I train with, and just to make sure that we're all, you know, still good, I guess. So actually, you know, I had to talk with my instructor for a little bit before, you know, going to class. So that was an event, but we're pretty much good. But I also couldn't commit to like when I can regularly train, especially given like what happened like last week with my youngest. I can't train on the regular for now, but I think when I go down to San Diego, I think I'll be in a better spot to actually train on a more regular basis. So because I got a pack and all that stuff, and like my youngest had like some medical issues that came up, and it was like a lot of shit. But it was good to see like some of my old training partners again, and even my instructor. Seeing them again was like really good, and like seeing how like rusty I was. It was like interesting because like I've been training with people that have not been training during the pandemic, and I've been doing relatively okay, like pretty good. And even coming back to like class again, like people that I usually used to be able to do really well against, it's like I'm I can still get them, but but now they can get me. And it's just like, fuck, like, you know, definitely I'm missing a step. Like I'm a little like sort of hesitant and like forgetting like where I should be in certain times, but I can still get submissions, but it's just weird. There's like there's definitely a gap there because I missed, 2 years of regular training, but I still feel okay. Like like as far as like my fitness goes, I feel fine. But yeah, it's just like the skill side, you know, just like I need to remember like various other positions and other things, but it'll come back. I'm not really that worried about it. So yeah.
Dude, I'm just happy that you're able to roll again. I know it's a big part of your life. I I think it's awesome. You know, the hiatus wasn't, you know, based on something that you chose or whatever. It was just a situation of life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
It
the main thing. It's,
It is what it is.
but it also, there was one thing that, you know, my instructor brought up is that some people are like sort of concerned because I seem like I ghosted all of them. And looking back, I kind of did.
Okay.
So I can't say that I didn't but I was going through a lot of shit at the time. So I'm not giving any excuses, but I had a lot of shit going on and I couldn't deal with some shit. So I had to prioritize things and, you know, dealing with, you know, certain things with that community, I just wasn't going to do. So
There you go.
yeah.
Now you got to do what's right for you. And you know that and I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
But I didn't like wish them ill will or anything. It was just like, hey, I don't have time for that shit. Like not the jiu-jitsu part. It was like some other stuff that was like extraneous going on. I'm just like, I'm just not dealing with it. So yeah,
No.
but no ill will. I came back. It's okay. And I want to get back to regular training. Oh shit, Blue's back. And now he's frozen. And now he's gone. All right.
Guess who's back? And I was standing still.
Well, now your video is totally gone.
Oh, I see him.
Well, I just see him in the sweetness. There we go. Now he's back.
Okay. Oh.
And now Nick's gone.
Now he's
He's
frozen.
just standing still. I can see you moving.
What the
You have
fuck?
to be real still. You have to be like, I can't even do
Yeah.
it. Like that's still,
No,
you
I want
still
to do
move a
that.
little bit. Yeah.
Froze my mouth open. Fuckers.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that on this show, man.
Yeah. Somebody will
No,
just
no,
CGI a dick in your mouth.
I had to go take care of my son real quick, so I had to step away. But I was listening. I was listening to like the app you talked about, the balance exchange. Yeah. But it's cool.
Everything good with Seabass?
Yeah, he's kind of teething, so he's kind of difficult to put down to sleep. He just wants to play or hang around and just run around in his bed.
Dude, I get it. I get
Hopefully
it.
stay asleep.
That first year is depending on your kid, obviously, but the first year can be sometimes the roughest.
Yeah.
No. I mean, unless your kid is like colicky, then I guess. But I mean, you'll see. Prodigy, you're pretty close to the years where your daughter is gonna show you some shit.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
she's gonna give you some issues, you know, and even your son, like things get I don't think it doesn't get easier or harder. I think it just changes on the shit you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Because you deal with like a baby that can't really talk, and they can't tell you their wants and needs, and then you deal with like an older kid that is just like fuck you and everything you stand for. So yeah.
Good times.
Well, one thing people didn't tell me about is that if you have any remote controls in your house, just forget about it. You're never going to be able to find them. I'm constantly always hunting for the TV remote. And even though this kid has its own remote control that it's just an old remote control for the TV, just doesn't have any batteries in it. Nah, I want to play with the one that daddy uses.
Just gotta put it up at a high spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they start climbing.
Oh, this
Have that
kid's
whole
climbing.
bookshelf falling on them.
Yeah. But kind of jumping back to the app you guys were talking about, little side note, so what do you guys think the word Nimrod means?
Like someone stupid, right?
Isn't Nimrod two words and
No,
that
it's one
like
word.
became one? Is it one?
No, it's one word.
I don't remember.
So apparently, Nimrod
it's a
isn't
villain
what
for
you
the
think it
X-Men.
is, and the whole reason why you think it is because of cartoons. So Nimrod actually means it's actually in the Bible, or it's a biblical word, I guess you want to say, but it means like a strong hunter or warrior. And the fact that in Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny calls Elmer Fudd a Nimrod, but people didn't understand what the word meant, and so they just thought that he was calling them stupid. So from there on, Nimrod became somebody who's dumb or stupid.
Well,
But it fathered to slang, which is weird.
Well, and it's
yeah.
it's really hilarious because in X-Men comics, Nimrod is one of the strongest characters in the mutant universe because he's like
Mhm.
he's a human that becomes like he's a hunter that just kills mutants like indiscriminately. And like if there is a Nimrod, he's like priority number one to like destroy for the mutants.
Yep.
It's just crazy. Like things. First of all, I got this off of TikTok. TikTok is just blowing my mind with some of these things.
Oh.
But yeah, like like there's this TikTok trend that's going around where it's like, tell me something that you didn't believe until you looked it up. And so like somebody said like, oh yeah, the word Nimrod, like it's not what you think it means. It actually means like a hunter, and it's a biblical word. I guess it's a person. It's a biblical figure from the book of Genesis and the book of Chronicles, and he's the son of Clush, and the grandson of Noah. So
I don't know if there's a book of Chronicles. I don't know about that one. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, you went to Catholic school, and we both used to be religious, so
Yeah,
read the Bible. That doesn't sound familiar to me either.
if it's Old Testament, that sounds accurate as fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of shit that you didn't know about, I'm gonna show you a book, but I have to cover up the cover because it's that fucked up.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So I finally bought it, so I have to cover up part of the book because this will probably get us like.
What is this?
Banned on, not banned, but at least demonetized. So this is the book called Without Sanctuary. And I can't show you what's on the cover because it's somebody being lynched. And it's literally a lynching photography in America. So basically this book is full of, there's some stories in here too, but it's photographic evidence of like lynching in America.
Wow.
And like oh shit, sorry. Hopefully that didn't get shown. The cover didn't get shown on YouTube, but
I didn't see. So, but
yeah. But basically, it's photographic evidence of lynching in America, and it's fucking horrific. Like I just got it the other day. I debated on buying this book for like probably a year because I'd known about it for like a year, and I debated on buying it. And I finally decided to order it, and it's horrific. So people used to take photographs of lynchings and they would make them into postcards and they would just like mail them to people that they knew, like that shit was from Disneyland. Like, this is normal. And it is way worse than what people think lynchings were, because people think that lynchings were just like somebody just getting hung, but it wasn't just somebody getting hung. Like these lynchings had to do with like people were castrated, they were brutalized, they were tortured, they were they took apart their body while they were alive. They cooked them and ate them. Like I'm very fucking serious. They cooked them and ate them. And this is part of America's this is part of America's history. And people just want to go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, there's one story I actually came across recently. It's about Mary Turner, and this woman was pregnant. She's a black woman who was pregnant, and she was lynched by a white mob, and like they set her on fire. They poured gasoline on her. She was 8 months pregnant. They poured gasoline on her and set her on fire. She didn't die. They decided to stab her, and they cut out her unborn baby. They cut the baby out, and the baby came out alive, and they killed the baby. They stumped and stabbed the baby, and the woman still wasn't dead. It wasn't until they shot her multiple times that she finally passed away. And the whole reason why they hung her was because she was protesting about her husband who was hung the week before.
Well,
that
and the fact that just because she was black and they could get away with it is a huge part too. But just to also add to it, we talked about how, this is a weird segue, but we talked about how Sonic and Detective Pikachu and whatnot were family-friendly movies. Well, this was family entertainment, as sad and disgusting and disturbing as that is.
Yeah, let me
across the nation.
If I can, let's we're gonna cover this up enough. The cover of this book, you can see the feet, right, dangling. What do you see in the bottom there?
Kids.
There's kids there.
People. Yes, it's family. Whole family.
Yeah, and that was nationwide. It was an event. I remember reading, like, per towns, this was an event. The whole town would come out to see lynching.
Well, you know what's crazy to me? As I've been reading through this, like I was going through the pictures, and this people will make you think that this is all just the South. No, the fuck it wasn't.
No.
There's a bunch of shit in there from California where people were lynched, like in Reading. People were
San
lynched.
Jose too.
Yeah.
Apparently the last lynching in the state of California was in San Jose,
I mean,
in Berryessa, and it was a pregnant woman.
there's still lynchings today. I mean, Ahmaud Arbery was lynched.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to me, so was George Floyd. He was lynched.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to talk about lynching was that long ago. No, the fuck it wasn't. Like it still happens today.
Well,
and go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, you know, I want to be really clear. For me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I think it's just facts. This was a huge form of just outright terrorism. If you know that you can be killed and that death and murder be celebrated at any point, including dragged out of your home, including your children, including your spouse, whatever, that is definitely a form of terrorism. And the fact that it's not categorized enough for me as terrorism pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It 100% is terrorism. And, you know, these people, like all the people that you see, like the pictures that I showed you, all those people that were in the background watching the poor person hang, and all those kids, you know, some of them are alive today.
Mm.
And definitely all the people in there, at least the vast majority, had kids. What the fuck do you think they taught their kids?
Yep.
And they're free, and their kids have the same shitty fucking, you know, personality defects that their parents did because of what that was passed down to them. You can't tell me that a kid that watched somebody getting brutalized and hanged didn't have any kind of like negative mental effects. Like you can't. It's fucking impossible. And they're free today.
Yeah. Let me also add this on top of it, because it's a very personal story for Black folks, but these white mobs included a whole lot of religious figures too. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, every small town had a church or a preacher. None of them did anything to stop this. You know, law enforcement obviously didn't do anything to stop it. FBI didn't do anything to stop it. I think, what was it, just earlier this year, they finally passed their very first anti-lynching bill, I think passed the House.
I'll pause real quick. They passed the anti-lynching bill, and there was still pushback against people in America. Yep. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it wasn't even old people. It was like young people that are pushing it. I'm like, Ahmaud Arbery, literally, he got lynched 100%. There is no question that he got lynched by 3 white dudes. But people will still push back against this.
And would have gotten away with it. Because remember, it happened months prior, before it became a national story. It happened months prior and almost got swept under the fucking rug. Because of the DA.
Because the DA, which she's under trial. She's in trial now, but it's just like, this almost got swept under the rug. Yeah, you're totally right. And it's just, and people still want to pretend that shit like this doesn't happen anymore. But it does. It happens way more often than you think it does.
The thing with Aubrey that still gets me to this day was when we did finally hear about it. It kind of broke and became a story, especially on like Twitter or whatever. You know, there was millions of people that immediately went to the knee-jerk reaction of, well, what did he do? He must have been stealing something. He must have been, you know, blah, blah, blah. He must have been criminal doing that, and they were chasing him down, and that was citizen's arrest or whatever kind of other bullshit, none of which was true. But the automatic assumption, and you can go back and read those old tweets and see the framing of it if you want to, but it was automatically guilty for being the victim as a black male. All you were doing was jogging. And, you know, that's what was one of the most disturbing things for me. Automatically guilty. And here is this man losing his life for jogging and getting lynched.
The one that gets me, which still has, I don't think there's been resolution yet, is Kendrick Johnson. He's the Georgia teen that was found wrapped up in a gym mat. And his death was ruled a suicide. Like, wait, what? Like, do you know how hard it is to wrap yourself up in a gym mat, a high school gym mat, by yourself, and then have it ruled as suicide? His family was like, no, someone wrapped him up because apparently he was wound up tight in that mat.
Yeah.
So apparently, I don't know. It doesn't look like they went to. I think they're maybe going to trial barely. This happened in 2013,
God.
and only
Was anybody
now.
charged? Anybody in the
I
school?
don't. Not that I know of. I think that an investigation was off the table, but I guess I don't know if the FBI got involved. But there's still very little about this coming out. But still, it made national news about him being found in a gym mat dead after like the weekend.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I remember
So,
that.
but there's still no resolution to this. I don't think there's been a full investigation. No one's gone to trial. Nothing.
The sad
But
thing is, unless something is caught on cell phone video, oftentimes, more often than not, it doesn't even become an issue or become something that penetrates the zeitgeist where people even talk about it.
Well,
Few
even,
rare exceptions.
even
you
when
know,
it
few
no,
rare
if,
exceptions.
even when it does get captured on, cell phone video, like look at like George Floyd, like when he was murdered for like 9 minutes, people still try to give the excuse of oh, the officer was justified. Like how is he justified? He's not. And now, like when you look at like the actual all the evidence came out, he was convicted, rightfully so, and people still where are they at now? Where's your opinion at now? Same thing with Ahmaud Arbery. You want to make up all these excuses for Ahmaud Arbery. Oh, well, he was in, some development that was getting built and doing something. Okay, does that deserve his death? Does that deserve somebody running him down with a fucking truck and then shooting him with a shotgun and killing him? It doesn't. Like,
No.
you're not a rational person if you think that some sort of
trespassing. I mean, that's
maybe trespassing, and even maybe theft.
trespassing.
And even if it was
he
maybe
didn't take
theft,
nothing.
yeah. But even
didn't take nothing.
even if it was theft, does that deserve the taking of a human life? Like seriously, when nobody was threatened, nobody was physically threatened at all. None of that shit even happened. Does that deserve death?
Did y'all watch Aubrey's the video? Because there's a closed circuit or there's a webcam there where the owner was like watching. He's the one who contacted the two men, and like if you look, he's just looking around. He's like, "Oh, this is being built." Like he walks into the property, even though it's not his, but he has his water bottle and he touches a hammer, puts it back, walks around a second, and takes back off jogging. That's it.
And I would be curious too if I saw like construction, but like,
it's in the middle of nowhere.
Real quick.
I'd be like, hey, that's what it looks like on film. It looks like he comes onto the property with his own stuff, his own water bottle, and he's like he touches a couple of things, but he doesn't take off with anything. He just looks around, and so the guy who was getting the property built, he's like, hey, someone is on my property. Can you guys go check? But they went in like they were lawmen, and they're not of the law. They're just citizens, and they came in with firearms and be like, hey, what are you doing, boy? You need to stop. And they pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's also what happened with was it Trayvon?
Yeah, I still can't believe that guy got off. Like it does make any sense to me. Like you can't, if you're not in law enforcement, like even if you are in law enforcement, like you need to. This is the problem. So if you're going to stop somebody, you need to articulate what crime you think they committed, right? But also, this guy was not in law enforcement, so it doesn't even fucking apply. You can't just run up on somebody, question them like what they're doing in wherever, and then get into a confrontation with them, and then claim self-defense because you started it, and you're getting your ass kicked, and then shoot them. Like, you antagonized the whole situation. Like, if you'd have just left him alone, he'd have been fine. You'd have been fine.
Well, you have the added responsibility of this, though. If you're an adult and the other person is a teenager, you are incredibly bored.
Prodigy, you're already fucking up because they don't see black males, even black females, even black girls, as they see us all as adults.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right, but it's like, I don't even know how you can combat some of that. I mean, it's deep seated. It really is, and It's always disappointing. It's always fucking negative. But actually, let me go back a little bit, Kronos. Who was the author of this book?
Oh, it's a few authors. Actually, I didn't know that. I think it's John Lewis is actually one of the ones in here as well. Give me a second here.
Wait. Yeah, you might want to. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't showing.
Yeah, I was gonna say just move the
Yeah.
push the book forward, but it's fine. You open it.
Sorry.
It's hard to tell from that angle, so we should
Yes,
be okay.
it's James Allen Hilton Als, Congressman John Lewis, who just recently passed, and Leon F. Litwack.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Important. That's really powerful. I'll try to pick up a copy as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can find it because I remember when I first started looking for this, it was like, it was actually a lot of money because you can only buy it used. And now you can buy them new because they reprinted this. I think it's probably because of John Lewis dying. And yeah,
or
Ron
DeSantis being dumb.
Yeah, and also he writes the forward.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. I kind of want to piggyback on this on what I learned. It's pretty similar to this, not as graphic, I guess. But I went to Alcatraz Island yesterday, and I learned something that I wasn't aware of. Maybe I knew about it when I was younger, but I didn't pay attention because I wasn't really politically conscious. But Alcatraz Island shut down in the year 1963, and about 6 years later, Native Americans took over the island in protest. It was known as a Red Power. It was like this movement during the Civil Rights Movement, and they had occupied Alcatraz for 19 months.
Wow,
19 months! I had no idea, and so the graffiti that they had did in 1969 and early 1970 is still on the island. They kind of left it there, but what they do is they have a what do you call it? Like I don't want to say it's a lecture, but they incorporate this red. It's called Red Power. They do a Red Power exhibit, I guess, or it's basically a discussion about what happened and why on the island. And they have this room in the back. It used to be the old Lenin room from the 60s, actually 40s. And they talk about the history of the island and why the natives came to the island in protest because they wanted, it was a lot of stuff going on back then. Was it the Relocation Act? I think it was just passed, and there was some other legislation. Basically, for those of you too young to know or care, the Relocation Act was basically about the federal government, U.S. federal government, not recognizing Indian land, and they wanted to push them off the land, basically, so they can develop on it, and they wanted them to integrate into American society. Well, the Native Americans were like, well, you can't just erase our culture and our history. This land is ours, and we want it to stay that way. What little we have left. And it became this huge conflict. And like, what I didn't realize is that when Alcatraz was a military prison, they were putting Native American elders and other Native Americans in prison on the island due to things that they felt were un-American, basically. So what they were doing was they had Native American children attend American schools.
Yeah.
And when they didn't, like, when they spoke their language, their native language, they were punished. When the children wouldn't cut their hair in accordance to what they felt was appropriate, but what the tribe felt was part of their culture, the teachers were upset. And so they would talk to the authorities, and the authorities would arrest the elders and ship them to Alcatraz. And this is from the West Coast, from Arizona up until far NorCal and even Washington. So you had there's a picture that they have during the exhibit about all these elders they arrested. They had them in the prison yard, and how they took a picture of all these elders that they had imprisoned because they didn't want to give up their culture, and how America tried to force them to integrate, and tried to force them off their land. And I was just like blown away because I didn't know that the Alcatraz Island had been occupied in this way. And I was just like, wow, this was completely like not really talked about, but the island makes a very, very huge deal about people recognizing the plight of the Native Americans that were in the West Coast. They built a huge teepee inside, so you can see they tell you the specific tribe, the specific material. There's like this weird canoe type thing. I forgot. I don't know the name. I also didn't know, like in the Bay, they were fighting a war with multiple Indian tribes, and they used Alcatraz as a staging ground. They basically go to the island, rearm, drop off prisoners, rearm, reload, and go out. And they were fighting in the East Bay and like different parts of the California, and they're fighting on multiple fronts with the Native Americans. They didn't want to give up their lands. So, but they all talk about it if you take the Alcatraz tour. So if you live in the Bay and you weren't aware of this, this is on the island. There's a bunch of material there, and they go deep. I guess they talk about it once a day. It's usually late in the afternoon, and that was a huge exhibit. Like they have like, I guess Rolling Stone, Good Housekeeping, Life Magazine. They're all bringing attention to it back in that day. So those articles are posted all over the place over there. And then like the leaders of it, they talked about. They have like there's a discussion with one of the leaders from one of the magazines. So it's posted in the exhibit. I was just like, wow, this is some deep like racial and crazy American history stuff that's not really talked about, especially with natives. And like one of the leaders that I was reading about, he was talking about he wanted to do something for his community. He wanted to do something that like felt he was giving back, but he couldn't get work because he was native. Like a lot of people, they found out that he was Indian, they didn't want to hire him. And it was like crazy. But his father and grandfather had taught him a trade. He managed to kind of get work on like this super lowbrow kind of stuff, but he ended up getting involved with this movement, and there's more discussion on that. It was just super wild discovering this whole, I want to say hidden history because nobody really talks about this.
Well, there's a bunch of like hidden stuff. Like if you think about like one of the largest tribes here in the Bay Area was actually Ohlone, which sounds
Mhm.
probably very familiar to anybody from the East Bay, because like Ohlone, like we have the college and a bunch of other things are that are Ohlone, and then there's also like hidden history about African Americans too that migrated here, like Russell City and Hayward, which got demolished, which nobody talks about. You know, um, like those are all. There's a lot of hidden things here. People think that California is like the super progressive, that it's always been progressive, that it's always been accepting for everybody. No, the fuck it hasn't. It has not. Redlining started here in California, in the Bay Area specifically. You know, so don't get it. I mean, yeah, recently they've been more on like social issues, but like not really, because even all the districts here in the Bay Area that have been redlined, they haven't done shit to fix it. Not a fucking single thing to fix it. What their version of fixing it is waiting until it's run down enough for a corporation to buy a block or two to gentrify it, and then they price out all the people that did live there, and now they have to move somewhere else, and they're fucking poor. That's the California version of non-racism.
Mhm. I mean, even even on Alcatraz, well, it's weird because I kind of get it, but in Alcatraz, they had to separate the black and the white prisoners because most of the white prisoners were from the Midwest or
Mhm.
East Coast. And when you integrated them and when they were let out to go to the yard, it turned into this huge fight because
Yep.
there were less African American prisoners at Alcatraz than there were whites. But when they
Mhm.
were let out and into general population, there'd be fights
All the
because they
time.
would just be like these white guys were just so upset, and like they even had like this quote about one of the guys like, one day I'm gonna be working for one of these guys, meaning
Mhm.
that he's gonna be underneath a black person for work, and so that made him severely angry, so they would just break out into huge fights.
I remember I did hear the Alcatraz history growing up. I always
Yeah,
kind
from
of
here.
wanted to visit, because it was like it's seen as this tourist attraction, you know. And I remember my old man was always just like, no, the fuck we are not ever setting foot on that goddamn island. Do you know what happened? And I was like, I don't know, Dad. It just looks like a cool jail. You know what I mean? So he just, he always used to kind of break down some of that history and whatnot. And then when I was an adult, I started reading some of the books about it. I think there's even been a PBS documentary that I saw. I'll find the name
I
and
wouldn't
put
be
it in the
surprised
chat.
at
Yeah.
all. I mean, the island's been around for over 100 years.
Yeah.
I don't even know how. As far as I know, in as far as the 1800s, I don't know how far, but it's been some kind of like either fort. It was called Fort Alcatraz by because it was a federal military prison. Then it became Alcatraz, but it's always been some kind of penitentiary or a base or a prison of some sort. And it's like crazy because they still have cannons. There's a cannon on the island. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell's this doing here? And they break down the history. I mean, at least now going to the island, they're pretty brutally honest about what was happening. I mean, they talk about one of the I can't remember his name, but he was it was 1917, and it was an African American soldier. He didn't want to fight. He's already enlisted, but he didn't want to fight in World War One. So he was sent to prison there. But what they did is they chained him to the floor by the neck where he couldn't sit for 8 hours a day. I can't remember his name. I just saw it yesterday. But they talked about they kept him. He was supposed to be kept until the war ended, but he had no idea that the war ended like in 1918, pretty early. But they kept him a year later before they released him.
A lot of stuff goes on, man. No, that's cool.
I remember,
I'm glad
no,
you brought that
I
up.
remember when we did a field trip to the island. I thought Native American lived on that island before like the military or whatever took it over.
Possibly, I mean, in the 1800s, possibly, because they kept saying that this was our island. Granted, I did not stay for the whole exhibit lecture thing. I only saw what they put out for people to see, read, and like experience before they went through. Because they had multiple TVs up with interviews of the natives that were there. All kinds like news crews were there from the like 1970 or whatnot. Like a ton of information is there, and it's all in this one area. But I didn't stay. I just went there and collected as much information as I could. But it was just super fascinating to me because they were on the heels of the civil rights movement, but they're like, hey, we're here too. You know, this was our land before, the white man came. And there's a lot of like stuff about, the deals that they made with white men that were broken. And it's right there in black and white and like plaques on this exhibit. So it's like, it's crazy. And on top of that, they do another one it's called Locked Up, and the fascination with American incarceration. And they talk about the incarceration rate of the U.S. as a whole, but they also talked about the Bay Area and their incarcerations and how much they had to spend, there's a breakdown on how much each county broke down in restitution for overturned like petty stuff. And it was crazy because number one is Alameda County, and where you don't know, Oakland is in Alameda County. They spent 1.9 million, I think, in either up until 2019.
Billion, probably billion.
No, million with an M, only 1.9. It was like 4 times as much as any other county.
That seems very low.
Yes, but they're for petty crimes though, not for like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was petty stuff that they paid people restitution. Basically, if you had like a dime bag of weed or whatnot and you were jailed and you got released, they paid you, but they probably didn't pay you a lot. But Alameda County had the most out of the like San Francisco, Contra Costa, what was the other? There's one more county they put out there. I was like, that's wild. And they have all these like pertinent questions like, what do we do about this? Why are we so obsessed about incarceration? Why do we have the most in the world? Like, what the hell's going on? And that one has multiple rooms with like multiple plaques and there's a bunch of stuff. And they talk about rehabilitation and how it's worked in other countries. Why aren't we doing it? Why did we try to do it and it didn't work? Like a bunch of stuff. There's so much information about that one as well.
We don't do it because we make money off of it. This is like
Yeah,
This
but
is
they talk about that one too. That's on there as well. But there's more to it in that discussion as well.
I was just gonna
So,
say for the people that are listening that probably don't know is that the vast majority of the prison system right now is modern day slavery, and most people that are in prison are not in prison for violent crimes.
Correct.
They're not. They're in most of them are for financial crimes, drug crimes, like low level drug crimes, and they make money. There are corporations that make money off of people that go to prison because they force them to work for low wages. I mean, pennies on the dollar to do their wages. There are companies include like a bunch of tech companies and shit like that where they make them, or even like fucking Victoria's Secrets. They make them fucking
pennies.
build panty. They make them make panties in prison or do technical support calls or become firefighters, a penny on the dollars, and you do all these other things that make other corporations money while they're in prison. And the vast majority of them are not violent criminals, and that's something that no one wants to fucking talk about.
Even if you're not doing that and you're in jail, they're still making money off of you, because if you want to buy a toothbrush or flip flops, because they don't give you all the things that, like, it's only in the movies that you see. Oh, they provide everything for you. No, the fuck they don't. You know,
But people put money on the books.
Yeah, things like toilet paper, things like, you know, even in a women's prison, feminine hygiene products and whatnot. A lot of times you have to buy that at the commissary, and they charge through the fucking roof, like 8 times what you would pay in CVS and Walgreens just for you to get some dental floss or whatever the fuck it is. So they're making money off you all kinds of different ways.
Yeah, let me just I'll just give you I'll paint the picture for you right now. Okay, you can go to you can Google check, or you can fact check me right now. If you go to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, which is www.bop.gov, and then you can find the stats on there. The vast majority of people that are in jail or in prison are there for drug offenses.
Yep.
And the vast majority of them are for minor drug crimes, because people that are like major drug dealers, they can do what's called civil forfeiture, where they basically just give money to like stay out of jail. So they can buy themselves out of jail relatively easily, and it's fucking bullshit.
I'm trying to look up to see how much people who are incarcerated make, and you can make anywhere from 2 cents an hour up to 14 cents an hour to $2 an hour.
Yeah,
on prison labor, and that is in, doesn't say.
That's in federal prison. I have to look up the state prisons, but that's in federal prison. There's other stats you can look up, but it's like it's relatively the same. Like, people are not in jail for what the fuck you think they're in jail for, or prison. Yeah, it's whatever word you want to use, jail or prison. It's fine. Like,
yeah, it was crazy because like on Alcatraz, the BOP was talked about a lot. Like, it's like plastered everywhere, because the reason why Alcatraz was shut down. Well, one of the reasons, I'm sorry. Because one, the prison with all that wind and salt and shit eroded a lot of the shit. But the BOP at the time was John F. Kennedy, and he felt that there was too many federal prisons that were being, filled up for bullshit. So he shut it down. He wanted to shut down. He wanted numerous federal prisons shut down, and he got it. I mean, you get that one. I don't know about the rest across the country, but Alcatraz was on his list for sure. But it's crazy about how many times the BOP is mentioned on Alcatraz, and about the control that office had over federal prisons. So it's just like, holy shit.
But what does Birds of Prey have to do with any of this? What are BOP?
That's probably where. That's where you can find copies of them. So if you want to know a little bit more, this is the only one that I can remember, because some of the Native American tribe names are kind of hard to pronounce. This one, I guess, this name is from the people that were, I guess, on the East Bay and all the way up through Nevada and Utah, because the Utah is the Utah Utes. So the people that were part of the East Bay were the Paiutes, spelled Paiute. There's even a war named after them, the Paiute War, which goes under numerous names, but that was part of the war that they were fighting as well. Pardon me, as another war that I guess they call it the Indian Wars, but they're fighting different tribes across the West Coast, and one of them in the near the Bay, and probably through Washington was the Paiutes. And then I don't remember the other name of the other native tribe because it was super hard for me to pronounce and like remember. So there you go.
Damn. Yeah.
History
Shit is
lesson.
all bad.
Yeah, I mean, we as people, we treat each other like shit. I mean, we think it's bad now, but back then, this is why black people don't time travel. We don't.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
it's all bad. And if you're native, shit, just stay home.
Mm. There you
Anyway,
go.
that was a bummer. Can we bring this up a little bit? Somebody talk about something?
Yeah,
Twitter?
let's go.
Jesus Christ. That was my
Well,
fault.
I wanted to talk about. There was something that I learned recently. Fun fact. For
Anime
girls,
titties are still fun.
now for girls contraceptive for girls birth control pills like that last week of our birth control pill or placebos, they're just sugar pills. I feel like I think I knew this, but like I might have forgot about it. But like, yeah, that shit kind of blew my mind hearing about it again. Like, yeah, that last week of pills are just sugar pills.
So how
But
many
the thing
did you pop? You were
None.
just popping them, right? Like,
He's like,
Well,
now
I
I have diabetes, so.
But no, so I did a little research, and like the whole reason why that's even there is because the inventor it mainly revolves around the Catholic Church and the Pope.
Mhm.
So the guy who created the birth control pills basically added that week to please the Pope, so women will still get their periods, because technically a woman can skip that week of pills and just continue like on for the next month, and they won't have their menstrual cycle, even though doctors recommend that a woman should have her menstrual cycle at least once every 3 months. But yeah, like technically a woman could just skip her period altogether. And these pills were invented like in like the 60s, I think. So they've been around for quite a while, and women could have just skipped her period, which is kind of crazy. And I guess there's like a few ladies or a few women revolution have came out protesting about this, like, you know, just shows how the Catholic, they're controlling a woman's body altogether. But I don't know, I just thought it was real interesting. Like the technology was there, but it was kept from people.
Well, I'm not, saying that that's not true. There's like 2 points I like to bring up. One is that if you're on like some sort of medication that's regular, and you have to skip a week, like you're probably gonna forget, like after you skipped a week, and then
Shit, you probably skip after. You probably forget after the first day.
yeah. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why that people want to do that. And then second of all, I think that it's kind of totally dismissing that if you don't have a period, you still have like women only have so many eggs like from birth, and so if you just keep skipping periods, like you're gonna like keep having periods well into like your old age. So you're just putting off like these things for
I wonder
for a
if the
while.
egg if the egg still drops.
I would imagine so. I don't.
This is outside.
Yeah, it's outside my range, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
they're only born with so many, and I don't think that if you just keep skipping like them all for like in perpetuity, that it'd be a great idea. But I'm also not a fucking doctor, so.
there you go.
But my first one though, super valid. People forgetting about taking medication because like if you just imagine, like if you had to do like every 2 weeks you take it because it's 21 days, right?
Something like
28.
that.
It's usually because it's with the roughly around the moon.
Yeah.
Just imagine that if you take any medication where it's like 2 weeks and then you stop taking it for a week, 2 weeks again, still taking it for a week. So I can understand that point, just like taking it regularly. But if it's some shit about the Catholic Church,
Well, like the main point that was brought up was that, you know, that last week doesn't need to be even there. They can just continue taking just regular birth control to stop their period from happening altogether. But by them taking the sugar pills, cause them to have their period because they don't have the hormones and stuff going through their bodies.
Are we absolutely? You know what? I don't know.
I don't know.
I looked it up. It's research. It's there. You can look. What's the reason for the placebo and birth control? And then it talks about the creator, and he wanted to please the Pope. And when the Pope still turned down birth control, that's when he left the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Like he was very displeased with the Pope.
there's also
we live in the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we live in the 21st century now, so there are other alternatives to the pill as a form of birth control. So
Such as
one
the
of them,
pull-out?
Yeah, well, we know that you can't pull out for shit.
Oh,
So yeah, there's that. There's the depot shot, and then there's the
Anal?
patch.
Anal?
Oh,
The depot
I
shot.
know,
The
yeah.
the depot shot though, like, so my ex, she was on depot shot, and I have my oldest. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and I knew
it,
people. I knew women that are on the pill and still got pregnant.
My
and
sister had
Anal
the
and
T
oral
thing in her.
never
and
fails.
also people, there's
100%.
there's been more than a few studies talking about how the hormonal changes that in women have women pick the wrong partner, because there's like a whole bunch of like, there needs to be researched more of like the chemical, like pheromone pickups that you don't get if you're on the pill.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like,
Is it?
you can look it up on your, you can Google it. It's been a bunch of studies on it that you can pick the wrong person that you think you're supposed to be with because your hormones are off because of the pill or any other birth control. So
Wow.
I'm not advocating for or against birth control. These are just things that are out there that people are still studying and that definitely have results for. But again, I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm 100% not going to tell the woman what to do or not to do with their bodies. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like,
So
it's not up to me.
what
It's up to you.
what I am gonna advocate for is STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and
Oh,
mathematics.
we're going to go to the
So
straight, just learn the code? Is that what we're doing here?
no. Just be no. I was gonna say we need more people involved in this so we can get these studies done. So that way, Prodigy can have new fetishes. There you
Mm.
go. So there we go.
I do like that. You know what I mean?
Nerd
Oh,
culture.
I got to talk about something else that I
What you got?
witnessed. Uh, I saw Morbius like
Oh shit.
2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
shit.
It's been like 2 weeks now. Yeah, it was. So you can. My cousin says this is a COVID movie, pretty much. It's like
Okay.
another COVID movie where
But
you
so
can
is
tell
Sonic
that
This was made before COVID, though.
yes, it was. But he said he feels like it's a COVID movie, and even though it's been delayed,
This is the
been
time when like
delayed
your
for like four
feelings could
years.
be incorrect.
Yeah, but it's been delayed numerous times. It's just um Jared Leto, he basically he puts in his best foot forward. He gives it his all to the role. It's just everything around him just doesn't really work out. Like the main villain, like is a great actor, but they have this stupid scenes with him. His motivations are weak.
Like Venom.
Yeah, it's just this. Well, I will say I enjoyed this more than Venom 2. There will
Wow.
be carnage,
Yeah, that was bad
but
too.
this I put this on the same level as Venom because it feels like the same. I mean, yes, they're in the same kind of universe, but like the caliber of the film is just whatever. It's kind of a throwaway film, and I feel bad because Jared Leto does a good job.
Hmm.
Or excuse me, Jared Leto, he does a good job. He puts it. I mean, he's featured 90% of the film. So I mean, it is his film, but it just doesn't come off as like exciting, or it has really great special effects, but like the story is just kind of weak around him. It's just like, I guess it's just like it. I wasn't really super blown away. I was just like, I was whelmed.
Did
I was just
did
like,
they
go
hint at
ahead.
all about fucking Blade?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I mean because it's mostly Morbius trying to deal with his new affliction, and he doesn't want anyone else getting it because he becomes a vampire through through technical means, and he doesn't want anyone else, you know, messing with the serum while he tries to find a cure or work out the kinks. But then his best friend takes it, and he wants to like basically become like a, I don't want to say party vampire, but he has that mentality where he wants to party and, let's do this and we could be, brothers in arms type thing. And they end up fighting. I'm like, I guess. And they had so much more potential. The vulture's in it, but
Okay.
but at the end of the film, he has like extended credits, and it has like it has a link to No Way Home, but it's
Hmm.
not like super. It's not super awesome. I had hope at the end, but it's kind of weird, kind of thing because we see you see the vulture in his full like get up. so it's kind of strange. I don't know how they're gonna explain it away, and then in their Sinister Six verse or whatever they're gonna do. It's just I I highly suggest just waiting for it to hit streaming, which it'll probably hit in 3 months.
2
So
weeks.
or 2 weeks, either one. It wasn't. It's kind of on the Venom. It is better than Venom 2. I'll give it that, but it's just not. A lot of people are saying that this is the worst. This isn't. I thought this was way better than Dark Phoenix.
Mm.
Just to me, Dark Phoenix was shit. This is better than that, and mainly because Jared Leto.
I
I
still like
mean,
Dark
he
Phoenix.
tries to hold it together. He puts in a good performance. This is everything around him is not
I don't think he.
solid. It's kind of meh.
I don't think he learned from being the Joker. You know, I think he just takes acting way too seriously. It's like,
Mhm.
man, you're playing pretend. Like, that's what actors do. You play pretend really well, but if you try to take it like way above board, like, like apparently he was staying in character to go to the bathroom. It's like, yeah, you can definitely not do that. So
Yeah, but I mean, for him, if he didn't do that, the movie would be fucking utter dog shit.
does it not other dog shit? I mean, it's getting
No,
dragged.
not it's not utter dog shit, but it's kind of like a nice wet fucking fart.
So hold on. So far, he's had the worst DCU movie, and now the worst MCU movie.
Uh,
Is this MCU?
yeah, it's debatable. If this is MCU. I feel like this is more of the Venom verse more than MCU. And I feel like they borrowed someone from the MCU at a very, very high price. I can't really say it because a lot of the stuff that we saw in the trailer is not in the film. Like almost every
The hell?
reference to Spider-Man is gone. Like the scene in the trailer where he sees Spider-Man on the brick and this is a murderer, that's not in the film.
They fooled you.
I wonder why. Because they were like, this isn't
you
so
don't.
good, so you can keep your nail on the mouth.
I mean, there's references. There's the Daily Bugle, but you don't see J. Jonah Jameson. You see his newspaper, and you see the Vulture at the end of the film, and even his end credit
Like,
scene
just
is
gonna
altered.
spoil shit. All right.
Yeah, but it's not really. You knew
I
that
guess
he's in the
Nobody's gonna watch
trailer.
it.
He's
Is
in
he
the
though?
trailer.
The Vulture's
Yes,
in the
he
trailer?
is.
Yeah.
Vulture. Yes, he's in the
Alright, I
trailer.
haven't
Michael
seen it.
Keaton is in the trailer.
Well, I guess that's how much I
already-
didn't care about it. All right.
Exactly. So it's just a meh film. I give this like a. I give this like a 5.5.
I was gonna say, usually in
That's a
Hollywood
D.
with comic book movies, like the actors usually can redeem themselves when they make this like a second movie. Like Ryan Reynolds, like Green Lantern was bad, but he was really good in Deadpool. Freaking the guy who played Captain America, he was originally the Human Torch, and then he became Captain America. He was bomb at that.
So what I would urge is that Kevin Feige step back in. They pull Jared Leto into the MCU officially.
No, you cannot do that. Just like not have
Well,
him.
they just need him. Put him in the Blade film, and that'll work perfectly.
No, because no,
Mm.
stop. He got so fucking butthurt over his portrayal of the Joker. He's gonna have the same sort of butthurt against about him being Morbius. I'm sorry. Just him making comic movies it appears to be at this point in time, it is not his fucking wheelhouse. So just let it be not in your wheelhouse. Do some other movies and just move on. Stop trying to make this dude into something that he's not. He's clearly not. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the Suicide Squad with him was meh. I get that, but if you saw the whole nightmare scene in Zack Snyder's thing with him, it was pretty solid. It was compelling. It wasn't long. He wasn't in it a lot, but his cameo was fine. It was solid. It was way better than I think Suicide Squad. I haven't seen this movie, but we'll see what happens.
What he brought to this film, I think that kind of energy and intensity could be used in the MCU in a very positive way, especially if written well. And if you merge him with Blade, I think that works out even better. Because what they did around him, they tried to make him he's a villain, and they tried to make him like a sort of flawed hero. And
do you read the comics, Old Ninja?
with Morbius, I mean, I know he's like kind of an anti-hero.
That's
I'm
not
not
what
a
I
huge
asked you at
Morbius
all.
fan.
Did you read the comics?
No, I didn't read
Okay.
his comics. I don't
So
give a shit.
yes, he is a villain, but sort of he's like trying to save himself and like
Yeah.
save other people. So he's like an anti-hero. So
Yeah,
The only thing I was going to say is this, though. At the same time, I asked about Blade, any references to Blade or whatever. Blade is the Marvel vampire hunter.
Mhm.
And so I know we're going to get him with Mahershala Ali playing the role and whatnot. It's not going to be rated R. They've already talked about that. I don't know. I guess I just want to, if you're going to do vampire and you're going to do vampire hunter, I want some real blood. I mean, that's part of the fucking fun of it. And if you're not going to do that,
it's not just part of the fun. It's like, listen, if you're talking about vampires, they drink blood. That's how they survive. Like, what the fuck? Like, how could you have a vampire movie with no blood?
Yeah,
that's very odd.
weird. Or even just super toned down blood. No, it needs to be like raining 90s rave in the first Blade.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because he does kill people pretty violently, and you see kind of graphic, but there's not as much blood as there should have been.
Yeah.
You know what's weird about like vampires? I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before.
Is this a dad joke?
It's not a dad joke. This is like a real life thing. Like people, like you read about vampires. Oh, they drink blood. Oh my god, they're so evil. Blah 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 blah. But we eat blood all the time, and we eat the flesh of animals all the time. Like how the fuck are we so different from fucking vampires? Like it's very odd that we have like, yeah, I guess. But vampire. Let me just be honest with you, vegans. The plants that you eat are possible because of dead animals. Okay, you can't. There wouldn't be very many plants on the planet if it wasn't for dead animals and animal shit. They're fertilizing your plants with animals. They're not fertilizing them with plants. So that's a fact. Anyway, going back to fucking made up bullshit. It's very odd that we made up this thing called vampire that drinks blood, but we eat the flesh and blood of animals and we think it's just A-okay.
All good. We don't like to be the prey. But I'm not, even though there's no trailer out, I'm not as enthusiastic yet about Blade reboot, and I don't know if Morbius would even work in that universe. Because for me, if you're not going to make this bloody and really violent, like true adult, then I'll probably check out of it.
Yeah, I have to agree. The first Blade movie was amazing, and just having that hard R just
so good,
made it more badass.
Just the first scene, having a fucking porn star seduce a dude to coming into a goddamn rave and it rained blood. I was like, I am all in. Like, especially when I was like 17, 18 years old, I was like, definitely all in.
Even just like the visual of it all, like everybody just covered in red, and then Blade comes in just dressed in black, just fucking badass, and just murdering motherfuckers like that. Just the color spectrum was kind of cool.
I'm hearing Confusion. That's the song that it was called. I'm pretty sure the song that they played as the blood rain came down. I'm gonna listen to it tonight as I edit the podcast.
You couldn't be 18, 19 years old, see that movie and not want to go to a fucking rave. I defy you. It was impossible.
Yeah.
You knew as soon as you left that, you were just like, damn, I need to go to one of these fucking raves and shit. You know
but
what
also,
I mean?
maybe not because it might get eaten. So, yeah.
Well, you don't want to go to one inside of a meat market. I mean,
not a meat market.
Science
here. Most likely back then, if you're between 18 to 20, you went to a rave and already heard that song.
Yeah.
So you're like, and so that movie got you even more hyped because you're like, dude, I just heard this last Saturday. This movie's lit.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
The fucking soundtrack was the bomb too for Blade.
So fucking good, man.
All right, Mystical had a song on there, right?
I will say this. I think for me, the big test will be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with Sam, like one of the masters of horror, Sam Raimi, coming back to direct a Marvel film. I mean, he's pushed the limits before with ratings. So
I mean, you can't even just say, even though yes, you're not wrong, Old Ninja, in terms of masters of horror, but I mean, he's done giant fucking comic book movies. The Spider-Man trilogy is the Raimi trilogy. You know,
but he's also horror fans love Evil Dead. Evil Dead, that's Sam Raimi as well.
We got another Evil Dead franchise coming out soon.
With
Evil Tower.
Some,
shit,
yeah,
really?
I heard. Yeah, I heard they're trying to do some stuff with it, but I heard Raimi's involved, so already I'm on board. So
There you
All
go.
right, we gotta wrap it up because unfortunately I have to get up like really early tomorrow for personal reasons.
Yes,
So,
it's all
understood.
good.
Let's
all
do
right.
it. Let's do it. Blue, what you got popping this week? Let's keep it short.
Oh shit! My car's been in a body shop recently, so I haven't had a car, so I've been using the Sweden stuff. But hopefully I get my car back tomorrow. The little guy slowly learning how to walk. He's climbing on things. He's talking. He loves turning on and off light switches. That's like his thing. Trying to save power for the house, which is good. Treating him well.
He's like, "Why is this light on?" Bop.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I've been interviewing for a company recently, and it's just been kind of crazy. And I got like a final round of interviews on Friday with the VP of the company, which is going to be very, very interesting. So I got to prepare for that after the podcast and get that all set up. But yeah, just continue to chill, watch my kid grow, and have some fun. I got to get back into Horizon too. I haven't had a chance to play it in the last week or so, but yeah.
Damn.
Also, Young Justice came back.
Oh yep.
The new season is kind of light. Like it's not very actiony. It's very story driven and
It's very
kinda depressing.
political. It's very
Yeah.
political. But I think
Yeah,
it's still good. We can talk about it next week. But yeah.
Good
But that's it
shit.
for me.
Good shit, Kronos. What you got?
First of all, I'd like to say happy birthday to Mr. X. His birthday was, I think, yesterday, and he
Mhm.
turned 40 years old. So
What?
Damn.
yeah, it's like he's officially an old man. His balls are dropping even further. Gravity is winning at this
damn.
point. I'm just saying, it's inevitable.
Okay.
Hey, at least he
so-
can use them as a weapon. So.
That he can. He can swing him around like a what is a ball shaped like a mace.
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
ball
I think
mace.
those clinky balls that you have like at Great America or whatever.
Yeah. It's happening. It's happening.
That's
Uh,
so bad.
I know his birthday party is this weekend. I was going to go. I'm like, hopefully I can still go, but I had some shit that happened in my personal life where I might not be able to go. We'll see in the next couple of days. Hopefully I can still show up. But yeah, just definitely want to give him a shout out. Other than that, just dealing with some shit. I'm packing up the Infinity Base and the house. Yeah, that's just about all I want to talk about right now. So there we go.
Good shit. Old Ninja, what you got?
I'm still nerding out on this Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga. This shit is fucking infectious. You can see the gameplay on our official Twitch channel. I've twitched out a lot of this shit actually. I'm gonna put on some more before I try to. I never got a chance to platinum Horizon because I had to learn Machine Strike because I wasn't paying attention. I finally beat one person. I got to beat one more, and then I'm one step closer to platinum in the game. Like Blue was saying, Young Justice is back. Halo's on tonight. Star Trek Picard is be on tonight. I'm gonna be watching some this weekend. I may do some more Bay Area history stuff. So my sister's in town, and we've been going through all the Bay, going through some spots. Hopefully, I learned some more history in the next couple days. If not, I'll just be gaming more. So check out some more gaming stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hot shit. I got not much fucking happening this week. Glad to have my fucking weekends back. Gonna see Kronos' brother hopefully on Saturday and the family. And hopefully getting on there with B-Boy Frost, Hobby. Still trying to finish up the last little bit of Elden Ring with a few more bosses. Hopefully going for the plat. That's all I got. Take us on out.
Oh, bruh, you need to twitch that out.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I got a
you
funny
should.
video.
Yeah, you should twitch that out. Make sure that we all see you get help. You getting fucking carried through the last couple bosses.
Dude. There you go.
All right, you just experienced Black and Black times Infinity. The dankest podcast on the internet. Check us out anywhere you consume your podcasts. With B's and BTI, it's BTHANBTI. If you are just finding us out through like an audio means, we go live every Wednesday night, 8:30-ish Pacific on YouTube. You can join us then, be a part of the discussion. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Try not to be a racist troll. You'll just get muted or banned or
And-
both.
Be sure to send all your comments about birth control to Blue, not to the rest of us, just to
Yeah.
Blue.
You can email us also if you're unsure about stuff at bethemethi@gmail.com. You can check out our official website, binheadproductions.com/bethemethi. And like I mentioned, we have a Twitch channel as well. Check out our some epic gameplay or epic fails. They're both on there. There you go.
Just saying, birth control helped the lady join the workforce.
Dang.
It did. What the fuck was that? What was all that noise?
It was a vacuum.
Sorry.
You
Fan.
farted?
It was,
No, it was a fan.
I thought you were like decompression. All right, we're out this bitch.
Peace.
There you go.